What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. If you are watching this thing, you can see this podcast on YouTube at Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards, or just type in Ian Edwards and the podcast will come up if you're not watching. You can also listen to the podcast at allthingscomedy.com, Libsyn, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher probably. And the sponsor is onthevolleyapparel.com. And I'm usually wearing some of their stuff, but not today. Today, it's all Man U, baby. But if you go to onthevolleyapparel.com, boom, check out the screen behind, and you see they got hoodies, tanks, tees, and for men and for women. And they have hip-hop, soccer logos on them, and they have a variety of stuff. And use my promo code Comic Rant, you get 20% off. So use my promo code Comic Rant, and you get 20% off. And they can also outfit your local team. And this company also puts on tournaments and has a team that plays in a lot of tournaments. So they wear their gear there. So onthevolleyapparel.com. And
you're happy to say this, huh?
Hey, I'm happy. So the main thing we're going to talk about today, or the first thing, is Champions League. And we have two guests. They're Spurs fans. One I knew would be okay. And you work here earlier on another podcast, so you most of the time you're here anyway. So we have Xavier.
Yep.
XG marks the spot. He's young comic. And thank you for coming.
Of course.
And Martin, I just text today, and I asked him to do the podcast, but I just really wanted to see if he was alive after the Champions League final, because I hadn't heard from him. So I was like, let me just text him and ask him if he wants to do the podcast, just to see if he's in the hospital, or he drank some rat poison or ate some glass, or just whatever you do when Spurs loses another trophy.
You know what? I'll tell you this: you're not far off in terms of what's. I almost got to hospital yesterday. I played basketball. I got elbowed, and I started bleeding so badly that I had to take 7 stitches to my forehead.
True
so
Spurs man.
Almost.
True Spurs man.
So yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll tell you this, and we'll talk about it later. Surprisingly well taken loss by me, because it felt, it kind of didn't feel that bad, because I think they showed up, and at the same time,
thank you.
At the same time, it was time for Liverpool to win it. I mean, it just felt right.
You weren't saying
not
that.
An excuse.
That's not what you were saying. That's not what you were saying weeks ago. I was saying that, and you were like, Tottenham is going to win the Champions League. I promise you. You will see. And that's what.
I thought they will, but the way it happened, and with the narrative at the end, I feel like even if I think we were a better team.
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, most of the game, I think we were the better team, offensively especially. We had more possession and we controlled the game.
You won possession. You won in passing.
Yeah.
You won in pass accuracy. You won in shots on goal, but you did not win in score.
Yeah, no, I agree. They were more mature. They went through the learning process a year ago when they had very good moments against Real Madrid. That they were controlling the game most of the time, and they get punished. I think the same thing happened to Tottenham. It's they paid their dues. But at the same time, I feel very positive and optimistic about the team moving forward. So I'll just take this as an experience. I'll take it as a great run. There were some mistakes.
Also take it as a loss.
Yeah, it's a loss. It's a loss. It's a loss in the final, though. So it's still making the Champions League final for the first time ever. It's a huge step forward for Tottenham.
I do think that's big for you.
Yeah.
For you guys, yeah.
It's a huge step forward.
Like you guys have experience at losing in almost everything now. Now, so this great experience. Do you have lost a Europa League final yet?
No.
Oh, that's coming. Don't worry about it.
No. you guys are playing Europa League next year.
Oh, we won that before too.
Yeah.
We win things, even when we suck.
He's thinking what happened in Liverpool is going to happen to us.
Yeah, it might. Listen, it
next
might.
year.
and this is why. Before we go to analyzing.
He's got a good point. What he's going to say right now, I do agree.
But listen, you know what? I want him to believe what he believes because it's the only thing keeping him alive right now. So fine.
Let him know what's up. What'd you read today?
Here's what I read today, and I made some research.
Before you get to that, how did you think about the game? And
I think we didn't show up. But
right.
I mean, when you get scored on 27 seconds, the other team's gonna hold back.
Right.
I mean, I don't blame them. That's what everyone would have done. I mean, one of my stupid homies said that was on purpose. That he kicked it so it could hit his hand. I'm like, he's not that fucking skilled.
Yeah.
And like I said, 27 seconds after that, then the second goal, let's not even talk about that. Was perfect.
You said a second goal, 27?
No, the second goal after that. I still thought we had a chance before the second goal because you know how at the end it always gets hyped up. Everyone's like, come on, we only got like 10 minutes left.
And you had a lot of chances.
Yeah,
too.
and then you see that second goal and it's like.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw Vertonghen put his head down because he was the last Spurs player to touch that ball before Matip passed it to Origi and before Origi sliced past it into the corner of the net perfectly.
And from the beginning, I didn't like it. The lineup. From the start, I saw a lineup and
What would you have preferred? Who?
Not Kane.
I'll weigh on that.
What about you?
Here's what I think. Yeah, I agree.
Let's stick to the game. We'll get
no,
to
about the game. About the game. Like, I have two different perspectives to look at it. If you look with the comfort with the comfort of knowing the end result.
Yeah, sorry.
Looking back and analyzing from the perspective that we know the how it paid off. Definitely putting Kane in the starting lineup wasn't the best decision.
Think so?
Because he didn't play, he wasn't prepared, and he didn't play well.
I don't even care about that.
Yeah, but imagine that he doesn't put him on and loses to nothing. Everybody kills him. Because he's the best player, he's the biggest star, he's the hero, he's the fans' favorite and everything. You just don't. No matter what you do, you're in kind of a lose situation.
Let me ask you a question. What was Kane's injury?
Ankle.
And how long has he been out? Because it's been 3 weeks.
2 months.
So you don't think he's better in 2 months? Like, we've seen Kane get injured before in the regular season. And we've seen him come back and score in the first game back or do good.
Yeah,
like
but he's not Premier League.
Premier League is good. Like it's
one of
a lot. There's a lot of finals in the Premier League. Like when Kane comes back, he plays in games where they have to win or they don't get a Champions League spot, or you're playing rivals or there's a top six. So those are big pressure games, and he comes back. And then there's teams below the top six you can't afford to lose to. So, like, they're all big pressure games. It's like, so I'm just asking, 2 months for an ankle injury is pretty good.
So I know that it wasn't just like, let's put Kane in. I know they gave him tests, and I know they made sure he was good. It wasn't just like, oh, he said he's good, let's put him in. No, I know they had tests. I know they got, like, fucking people looking at him. But to me, it's not even that.
What is it?
This other motherfucker just scored 3 goals, and the reason they're there.
A month ago.
It doesn't matter. What do you have to do to be a starter? Like, I would feel fucking pissed off if I'm Lucas Moura, and what do you have to do to earn a spot? There's nothing else. If you told me, hey, if I score 3 goals and we're the reason you go there, you would have said, yeah, you start.
But
he does it, he doesn't start.
It's a team game.
Yeah.
And a part of the reason why Lucas Moura can score 3 goals is because he gets a lot of rest throughout the season.
It's been a month.
Because Kane is playing. So Lucas Moura can come into a game and be like physically, how you feel, like recovery-wise, he hasn't played that much. So, yeah, he can do that. You know what I'm saying? Because of Kane. So, it's a team game, and you got to...
Okay, but maybe not Kane. You still could put Dele out.
Who?
Dele?
Dele Alli might be the issue more than...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't have to be Kane, but the thing is, it's hard to fucking sit out a player that scored 3 goals, at least to me. Because to me,
it should be easy to sit out Dele Alli.
But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But this situation is actually typical Pochettino, and this is not a criticism. He likes to bring someone like that from the bench. Like he did it a lot with Son before in a lot of games. So he likes to bring someone like explosive player from the bench. So that was a good idea. Here's what happened. First of all, you know the game plan was pretty good. They controlled possession. That's the way they wanted to win the game. But then you get a dubious penalty in first minute. There was never a penalty. It was one of the most horrific decisions in history of football, which will go down as the big blunder by the referee. That kind of screwed the plan. Yeah.
Let me just make a point, and then I'll ask you about this penalty. this dubious penalty. I think that Spurs were set up right. I think Liverpool had a game plan and Spurs had a game plan. Now, Liverpool's game plan worked first. Like, in the first, it was just 30 seconds before the penalty, but they jumped on you guys kind of physically and won battles in the midfield. I think Ronaldo passed the ball to Fabinho, and Fabinho chipped it over. But that was a ball that they won, Liverpool style, pressure style. And then they get the penalty, right? And then they score, which destroys Spurs' plan, which was to counter most of the game. And now you can't counter when that's all you've been training to do. And then you didn't make the adjustments. The good things that you guys did was, like, the way you guys spaced out in the midfield and defensively, like, you stopped a lot of attacks, from Liverpool. And you killed their fluidity.
Yeah, we controlled possession the whole game.
You killed their fluidity, but you won back. I feel like you won more balls than they did. And I think both teams were nervous. Like, Liverpool didn't want to lose this again, and you guys just had never been there before. And I think a lot of people left their skills in the locker room, like Wijnaldum, who's usually a really skillful player. And Henderson still played the bully, tough guy, but he has gotten better finesse-wise recently, and a lot of that wasn't there. And just a lot of the players on Liverpool, I can only break it down to, like, nervousness and fear of losing this moment, So, and then it was perfect for Spurs to be sharp and take advantage of this Liverpool. But you guys,
we missed, like, the final ball. That's what we're missing, the final ball, and that's why Dele Alli didn't have, in my opinion, a great game, unfortunately.
He hasn't had a great last 2 seasons.
Last season, yeah. No, I said it.
Last season, including this season. That's 2 seasons.
This season.
How was he?
Previous season, he wasn't too bad, actually. But this game, he was definitely not the
dubious.
Best
Dude, I'm sorry, that's a handball.
Dubious handball.
He hit him under the arm.
Well,
from a close distance. What was he supposed to do?
He was pointing, right? But then he tried to so he was pointing, and the ball hit him in the chest, and then he brought his hand down to the ball, and he should have just. I don't know how you get out of that.
You don't. It's just it's a fucking unlucky shit. Because that's what I was telling my homie. How do you not point? Sometimes you be like, get that fucker over there.
Keep your hands down.
And but how do you explain where? Get who?
See what I mean? Just keep your hands down, because a lot of players, when they're one-on-one in the box against an attacker, they just play with their hands behind their back. You have, who is that? You have a defender on one side. You're the next guy that's going to shut that down. Where the fuck are you pointing to? Just stop officiating and play football. Put your hand down and stop this ball from going over. And then if it doesn't, everybody was trained, everybody was grilled. So let the people on that side of the field hold up their end of the bargain and be responsible for who they're supposed to be responsible for. And you can't do this in the goal area. This is the last thing people are doing in the goal area. And if you watch football all year, you saw the PSG penalty that they gave up against Man U.
Yep.
And I disagreed with the penalty, the same thing. I disagree. Yeah. I don't think there was penalty.
I think so. You saw the penalty in the World Cup, in final, France, the first goal.
And same thing. I don't think it was a penalty.
But say you disagree.
Yeah.
You know these things happened.
Yeah.
So what the fuck do you do with your hands now?
Yeah,
you
but
keep them
it's
down.
Becoming ridiculous. They have to change that rule because it's just it leaves too much room for interpretation, and it becomes accidental. It becomes accidental, and then
I agree.
And this pretty much established the game like that put the game in a certain direction.
Yes, but you have to.
It's a boring ass game.
Yeah, you have to be mature. Like, listen. Liverpool, these are 2 capable teams. You guys lost to Ajax and then went down by a goal to Ajax.
By two goals.
By 2 goals.
Yeah.
But you did not let that dictate how the rest of the series or the rest of the game went. You adjusted to what happened.
Yeah, because
and
we played even more inexperienced team in Ajax, and
right.
Liverpool is an experienced, mature team.
Yeah, but hey man, if you want to win a title,
well deserved, and they, like for me, the player of the game, and not just for me, I think it's obvious the player of the game, and maybe even the player of the season in Europe was Virgil van Dijk. He just killed, because we had possession, we attacked better, in my opinion. Danny Rose was better than I expected he'll be.
Danny Rose did good.
Yeah, Trippier, unfortunately not. He was terrible again.
Winks did good.
Winks did all right.
I wouldn't have started him, but he ended up doing really good, actually.
Yeah, he did very good. Sissoko was Sissoko.
So you don't blame Sissoko?
No, not at all.
Where was Eriksen? How do you rate his game?
He was good in passing and in movements. I think he was really doing a lot of good in terms of keeping possession, but we were missing the final ball, and it was also due to...
Which usually comes from him.
Yeah, but at the same time...
Because he's the playmaker. Like Winks and Sissoko are being very defensive. And Dele Alli is supposed to also provide some of that.
Yeah, but there had to be more movement in the penalty box. And Kane was clearly not himself yet. Plus, Van Dijk was reading the game perfectly. He was just in the right time. He wasn't leaving any empty space for people to run into. So that's why I think he was the player of the game. Because he kept the discipline. And they kept the discipline. Like, they allowed Tottenham close to the penalty box. But they didn't allow... anybody in the penalty box to do anything.
I think a big part of the game. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say for Eriksen, I feel like if I'm Real Madrid, you lost. If I was looking at you, I'm not, because I look at Hazard and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna capitalize in the final game.
So you're saying you'll bounce if you're Eriksen?
As Real Madrid, yeah, I bounce. I don't want him, because they were looking about getting him, and then after.
You're saying Real Madrid shouldn't want Eriksen after this game? I wouldn't. What about the rest of the season? Or everything he's done?
Yeah, but if they were picking between Hazard and him, and then Hazard just fucking.
But they're two different players, though.
Yeah, I think they could play together.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think they tried to get Pogba first, though. The Pogba is their first choice. Hazard is already in, and they're trying to get Pogba to play with him.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that they're trying to get him.
So we're talking. What? Let me ask you a question. I can't remember when this. I just remembered when it happened. I don't remember when it happened.
Talking about the highlight of the game?
Not even the highlight of the game. Just when did this handball situation in football start getting out of hand? Was there a landmark game? It's like normally everything's fine. Everybody knows what the rules are. It's just like the offside rule. Like a few decades ago, it was fine, and then all of a sudden, maybe there was an issue or two, and then they just kept on rewriting it until it's so confusing. And now, when did the handball rule get so confusing?
Yeah, and that's a good question.
Like, when was the moment that
I think
we didn't know, the whole world, everybody didn't know what a handball is anymore, Yeah,
because it used to be that if you don't move the hand towards the ball, it's not a penalty. But then they left it for interpretation. And right now, it's hard to say, really, and from what distance? If you hit from 1 yard, now? If you hit from 10 yards out, so if you hit right, below the guy, or you hit above the guy, like if the ball drops.
Well, now
the ball goes up.
If your hand is extended from your body, it's a penalty.
But you can, run like this, like a penguin. But
there's lots of people not handling the ball every game. I mean, and then anything that happens to a Spurs player out there, as far as a handball can happen to a Liverpool player. Yeah. Because you guys supposed to put them in a position too, and just any team.
Or someone can have a nervous stick and just go with his hand like
then
this.
You should not be in defense. If you have hand Tourette's, that cancels your soccer career.
Right now.
Period.
I think this was the one that, at least I remember, that changed the plot. It was Ireland versus France. Handball for the World Cup.
Oh, when they score with the hand.
Yeah,
that was a terrible one.
That was terrible. And I remember that was a big deal because that made France go in the World Cup, and they weren't. Do you remember that one?
No. So this is Ireland versus
France, right? You remember?
In the World Cup that France
won?
Qualifier,
2009.
Qualifier. It was a qualifier for the...
Thierry Henry scored with his hand, yeah.
Oh, word?
And that left Ireland out, or put France in, and everyone was pissed.
I remember that.
Yeah, sure. I think that was what moved a little bit of the handball situation, because it was a world. It was a world.
But he was also attacking. He just scored with his hand, pretty much. That's what happened.
And the ref didn't see it.
Yeah.
Did it bump off him, or did it on purpose? Did he do it Maradona?
On purpose. That was on purpose type shit.
Right. So then they started reviewing it. Then.
I don't know. It's a little bit different situation though, because he was on the attack, right?
Right. You give him a yellow card for that. or red.
But I just remember that's when those handballs started becoming such a big deal because, I mean, it's a whole country that gets allowed in.
Right.
But now with VAR, they should be able to, to have established a certain rule and just go with it. This one is very unclear and it's just wrong.
I used to trust VAR, but this is, so there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes in football. Like Neil Brennan sent me this article
from New Yorker?
In the New Yorker.
Oh yeah, I read it yesterday. Amazing.
It's so fucking long.
Yeah.
It's mad long. That's number one. And there's this guy,
Pinto, the Portuguese guy,
who tapped into like all these accounts.
Hacked like because he's a Porto fan, so he hacked the Benfica Lisbon accounts, were the biggest rivals, and he got some documents. Mm-hmm. He got a lot of stuff on Cristiano Ronaldo, including his rape allegation case.
Right.
And he was the whistleblower in his tax evasion. And then we read like in the middle of the story that he was Cristiano Ronaldo's biggest fan. And now he put him on tax evasion and rape case. So if I'm Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm like, I'm good. I don't want fans like that.
But this guy,
He's in jail.
Pinto's in jail because for what, hacking?
For hacking, yeah.
But which is crazy because he's bringing to light a lot of criminal things that's happening behind the scenes in football. But if you obtain the information in an illegal way, then you're a criminal too.
Yeah.
But he's not exactly like a clean guy. Like he's been accused of stealing money from a bank before. Mm-hmm. Pinto.
He's a hacker.
He's a hacker. Right. He's a regular hacker, and there was.
But he doesn't consider himself a hacker.
Consider so a journalist?
Nah, he's just a fan. He doesn't think he knows enough to be a hacker.
Cristiano Ronaldo's fan.
Yeah. But then he's also talking about. I got to finish reading it, but he's also talking about how there's these companies that chip in on players. Like they buy a stake in like a South American player.
Yeah.
Or a Portuguese player.
Mm-hmm.
Or a French player.
Which is technically not allowed.
Which is not allowed. And then, so if that player is doing good for a team, then the shareholders in this player, and the player is not aware that he has shareholders, or is he aware?
Yeah.
He is aware?
Mm-hmm.
Then they push for that player to be sold so that they can make money from the sale. They just got to outlaw that shit.
Yeah, and there was also the
because it disrupts entire teams and just the whole business of football. Like all these people, like are puppeting and controlling and disrupting this thing.
There was the whole chapter
for their own
about
selfish interests.
Pogba transfer from Juventus to Man U.
Oh yeah,
that Raiola had a stake in Pogba and he profited, I think 35 million he got for the transfer.
And the agent. That's almost crazy. You know what? That's crazy because, with writing in Hollywood right now, there's a big war. I'm saying big war, but there's a big thing going on between writers and their agents because there's this thing called packaging. And what packaging is, when a writer sells a TV show, their agency packages the show. So the studio who buys a TV show pays the agent a lot of money, more than the writer, like millions, to get the director and the actors from that agency to participate in the show. And they call that packaging. And what writers, but they don't charge, because they package, they don't charge writers their 10% fee. But the reason why they don't charge a 10% fee is because they're making way more money than the writers. And then the writers have just realized that there's a big deficit sometimes when there's a show because the agency's money up front is so big it goes against the budget of making the show, and the agency gets all this money and then it just fucks up the flow of everything, similar to what's going on in football behind the scenes. So there's parallels there, and it's just all these unseen hands and everything just grabbing money, so that the rich people and corporations are always going to stay richer.
They do that in poker too.
They do that in poker too.
Yeah, like let's say I'm a poker star and I have $1 million buy-in, but I don't have $1 million buy-in. Someone can buy a percentage of my winnings.
But I'll tell you this.
But I know unlike these fucking players, don't know that they're buying a percentage of of the tournament. So if I end up winning the whole thing, I don't even keep. Sometimes it's like they end up winning 15% because they're so bought in by all these companies or rich people that know he's good and he has a chance to win. They're like, I'll invest.
That'll make a great movie.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, Ian, and we talked about it, especially because the example of Pogba was in the article. And how much
that part. That shit was so long.
Yeah, and why Mino Raiola took 35 million.
Article.
Let's say he still has that stake. I now I understand why they're pushing for Pogba to leave Man U so badly.
You could sell him again. Every time you sell him,
exactly,
the agent makes
because they'll sell him again for 100 million. Probably.
And they don't care how good is he doing at a team or how comfortable he is. They start whispering in his ear because their agenda is more important than the player's career. And then that'll make the player look bad because he wants to move, but he's being advised to move by people who have been in football a long time and supposed to know what's best for him. But they don't give a fuck about what's best for the player. It's like, let's sell him again. Let's sell him again.
Yeah, and again.
Sell him until the last drop. And then people hate the player, but it's the game.
Yeah, because it kind of started randomly in the middle of the season that he wants to leave, that he will be sold. And first you thought, why? What's going on? Why would he leave?
Well, I understand that because Mourinho.
Yeah, but no, not really. Because then what happened? Then they didn't change when Mourinho was.
No, they did change when Mourinho left. They won. They started winning.
No, but it didn't change. Like the rumors didn't stop happening. They were still. He was actually pushing even more for the transfer after that.
I didn't hear that. I just know that now, towards the end of the season, that we limped like across. We can't even say finish line because we didn't finish anything. The only thing we secured was Europa League. But I just think, if I'm Pogba, I want to be sold because I feel like people are blaming me for things that without, like the way Klopp looks at everything. When they lost 3-0 to Barca, right? And just not even Barca, like in this post-game speech, pre-game speech, he talked about we're going to go out there, we're going to play. The game before
he's got a good attitude. He's got a good attitude.
He looks at the big picture. Right? And he doesn't panic, and that's how he built the team, by looking at the big pictures. Everybody wants Klopp's success, but they're not willing to look at the big picture. Now, there's fans in Manchester United and ex-players that want to get rid of Paul Pogba. And the reasons why is because they refuse to look at the big picture of Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba has only been successful on teams that he's played with, right? And in a bad year for Paul Pogba, he has 16 goals and 11 assists. What team, I watch all these fan vlogs that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they're like, I don't care if we lose Paul Pogba. Like if we have to sell him. It's like 16 in a season that's considered bad, 16 goals and 11 assists. You don't care if he leaves? Like, are you looking at the big picture? Why is Paul Pogba, the times when you don't like him and the way he plays, not playing good? Because all we have is a goalkeeper,
which is another problem which I would mention. Because he wants to leave too.
And a back. That's all we got. And like the team is not great. And then the problem we're going to run into in the transfer window is we're trying to get a lot of good young prospects.
Yep.
But that's fine. But you know what's wrong with all the good young prospects? When Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, and all those guys joined Man U, there were a bunch of seasoned professionals there for them to integrate with and to learn the game from. Like our team next year, if we get all the transfers that we want, they're going to be so young. Oldest player will probably be De Gea. And
here's the problem with De Gea.
And then it's like
he wants to leave. You know that he wants to leave, right?
Probably. I don't blame him. He's not going to be in Champions League.
No, it's not the reason. They don't want to give him a raise. He expected a high raise, big raise, and so they broke up the negotiations, and now he wants to be transferred.
Right. But it's tough to pay him too because he hurt his argument for more pay with the way he played this season. So they're in a tough position. Like now, there's doubts if he's that good. It wasn't a great year.
He's good.
He's been good.
Yeah.
But
plus there are like couple, because I actually did inquire a lot, and I read a lot about like what's going on with Man U. I hear a couple of problems. First problem, and I know it from the first hand because my friend is one of them. So Mourinho, he built the network of scouts to caricatural proportions. He hired like 50 scouts. 50 scouts.
Yeah.
He hired like 50 scouts worldwide. Like no other club has such a wide network of scouting.
He built that with Man U?
Yeah, he built that with Man U, but everybody's saying it's too much because now all of them are under stress and pressure to deliver. All of them are different parts of the world, and all of them are trying to push the envelope for their players to be signed. So there's so much chaos, informational chaos, and there's so many different agendas within the club trying to push for different players because they want to, keep their jobs.
Right.
So there is so many different transfer rumors, so mixed messages about different players from here and there being linked with Manchester United, and then creates a lot of uncertainty within the club. So that's the one mistake. Second mistake is apparently international players, and it started with Herrera. Herrera was very upset that they offered him a lower wages than he had before. He felt like he earned them, and they offered him lower wages going into the future, and he declined them. International players apparently feel their guys like Smalling, the British players are being paid more and offered more than the international players, and the international players were the driving force of the team in the last 2 seasons, and they're very unhappy. So there's
Alexis Sanchez is getting paid more. Pogba's getting paid more. Lukaku's getting paid a lot.
But they're on their way out, all of them. So.
I don't understand that last part. I don't know if the facts back that last statement up.
I mean, Herrera felt that he was doing his job on the field and that he wasn't properly rewarded.
Well,
he was very upset, apparently.
Herrera has never been treated properly at Man U, so I understand him wanting to leave. But at the same time, he's not as good as a Man U player should be either. He's just better than kind of what we have, But I mean, I feel that we don't lose much if we lose Herrera. It just opens up room for us to get better. Okay,
and the third and the last part, the Champions League. And there were a couple of players that apparently already rejected the move. One is Rakitic. Apparently there was a already deal in place.
We don't want him.
Between Man U and Barcelona, but he said no, he doesn't want to play non-Champions League football.
Cool.
The other guy who is he wants to rather go to Tottenham is James Maddison from Leicester City.
I don't want him. I don't think he's that good. I saw like rumors that we want to pay 60 million.
Yeah, for James, but apparently Tottenham will pay the same amount and get him.
Enjoy. Please,
like him.
Please win that battle for James Maddison. I don't want James Maddison. I've seen him play. He's got potential, but he does not have the ultimate Man U potential. Like skill, we need skill out there. We need skill. He's not skillful enough for what I think we need. Like if we talk about skill, there are skilled teams in this league, and those skilled players are on Liverpool and Man City. You know what I'm saying? There's just highly skilled players that can also generate the effort of a James Maddison on field. I don't want just James Maddison's effort, but he runs out of ideas when he's closed down in a space. We need fucking skill to get out of trouble so that we can keep the flow of the attack going. So I don't believe in James Maddison skills-wise. So please, you lost the Champions League, but please win that transfer battle.
Oh, I'll take him. And you had that transfer bid rejected for Onana, for goalkeeper of Ajax. So 25 million. Yeah. So
I don't care. We'll survive without Onana. We never had an Onana. And we survived without him. What the fuck is that guy?
But generally, too many scouts, too many players being pitched right and left, and players. Some marquee players don't want to come to non-Champions League football.
That's fine. Listen, I was talking about how Klopp doesn't panic, and what we need to do right now is not panic. Like Klopp, when he went to Liverpool, he cherry-picked the best players from some of the shittiest teams in the Premier League. Is it who's from Hull? Is it Trent
Robertson?
Robertson?
Mm-hmm.
Hull got regulated. relegated. He picked that guy from there.
Those are guys you need.
Yeah. Wijnaldum from Newcastle.
Yep.
When they got relegated. You know what I'm saying? You're just
trying to get your cousin.
We got Sissoko from Newcastle when they got relegated.
Yep, you did.
Yeah,
and it took a while.
And Trippier when he got relegated.
Yeah. So it's like you gotta. Speaking of which, my cousin actually is in town.
Is he?
With Cardiff, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I might hang out with him. We'll see what's up. I'm down. But we have to. We don't have to go crazy. We just have to be smart, and we just have to be decisive. But our problem is probably up top in our offices, and the panic that's up there. But you know, when shit is desperate, and then some of the problem I find, like, I want to believe in Solskjaer, but if he doesn't pull the trigger and get rid of some people, I know he's not going to be a good coach. You know what I'm saying? If he tries to keep Juan Mata, then I'm going to lose belief in him.
What do you think we need? Obviously midfield and defense, right?
Forward's
good, right? The top.
I mean, Lukaku will be probably sold. The Inter wants to buy him and give Perisic back.
I don't want Perisic.
And Arnautovic is apparently also on the wish list.
On whose wish list?
Manu.
That's not true. You're making shit up now.
No, I told you that 2 weeks ago.
I heard Zaha was on ours. I was like,
no, Zaha is still your player, I think. Or he's on loan, right? To Crystal Palace.
Zaha?
Or did you sell him?
No, we sold him to Crystal Palace. Okay. I don't want him. Like, you know what? But Zaha is what? A forward?
Yeah.
Like
winger.
A winger? Like,
I think Martial is better.
He's a left. Yeah. Like, see, we don't need him because I'd rather get Martial better.
Or Sanchez.
Get rid of Sanchez. Get rid of him. You know?
No, you need a striker for sure. You need a striker.
Right.
You need like a goal scorer you didn't have since Rooney was in his prime. So.
Right.
He was the proper goal scorer.
And Rashford is too young to be that potent guy right now. But
I don't think he's the center forward per se. He's more of a supporting forward in my opinion. You need like a poacher, like the guy like, you know, Hurricane style, Teddy Sheringham style, Alan Shearer style. You need someone like that.
I haven't asked you this because
Lewandowski, you know.
What did you think about who was that guy that was like Cristiano that was on Man U? The little skinny black guy, what's his name?
Say that again.
The old Man U guy. Skinny guy that looked like Cristiano Ronaldo. He was Portuguese as well. What'd you think about him?
Nani?
Nani, yeah.
He's now in MLS. He's doing well.
I know, but what'd you think about him when he was in Man U? Because I didn't know you back then. Did you like him?
Yeah, I saw the capability and the flashes. And then we had another Portuguese dude at the same time. There was Cristiano, there was Nani, and what was the one with the dreads? And they just didn't fulfill their full potential. Like,
no, Renato Sanchez was with Bayern.
No, it wasn't Renato. That was Renato is way later and he never played for Man U. But they were like Nani. I just think there's a discipline issue, you know. Or he could have been better. Like if he was like had the head like Ronaldo, where you want
Macheda,
huh?
Macheda, something like that.
No. I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, Nani was fine.
Oh, it's that guy right there, right?
Yeah, the one with the dreads right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
No, he is.
But we had Berbatov, you know, skill, like composure, brains. Rooney, like, was a genius. You know what I'm saying? And then look at
Vidic was good too.
The defense. You know what I'm saying?
Berbatov was a good striker.
Yeah.
He wasn't a bad striker.
Who's that on the left? So we had a lot of skill, man. Berbatov, Nani. Valencia.
And this is what you're talking about when you get young players with players like this.
Mixed in, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, I'm not against buying Vertonghen. Is it Vertonghen that's out of contract?
But he's not going anywhere. He'll stay.
I'm not against buying him. Like I don't want to get De Ligt and have, you know, a bunch of young dudes back there.
De Ligt is going to Liverpool most likely.
We'll see.
Because he wants to play with Van Dijk. They play in the national team together, and he feels like he will grow as a player next to him.
Yeah, you spoken Barcelona, to him? You sound like you spoke to him.
No, that's just the rumor. But Barcelona will probably pull it off.
Is he? You write your letter? What's going on?
But he will probably go to Barcelona. Barcelona will probably pay the most money for him.
I think I don't like the way that the Lit transfer is going. Like Barcelona offered, and then we offered more, and then there's this pause now, and I think the pause is because your boy Riola, who isn't he banned? There's like a he can't do anything. So what's his name? Mino Raiola.
Yeah, he's just doing a Pogba transfer.
But he's banned, or there is something where he can't do trades right now because he's involved in he did something fucked up.
Yeah.
So
we just talked about it.
But they're saying that he'll just get somebody to do it for him and still make the money and give him a percentage. So he's still going to be involved.
You know, by the way, how he became an agent, how he became so powerful.
No.
He's Zlatan's old buddy they grew up together. So he was his first agent, No. So Zlatan brought him to, on board. And but it's most of the agents are like that. Rich Paul, he's LeBron's friend from his childhood, and now he's the most powerful agent in the NBA. He was never like, oh, I'm going to be an agent. Same with Raiola.
He played in high school with LeBron?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So now he's the most powerful agent, like pretty much firing coaches, like having so much power in the NBA.
It's worked. When
so that's like a pattern, that the player becomes big and he brings his, boys from
It's not a complete pattern. It can happen.
Yeah.
Because Steve Kerr ain't no part of no goddamn pattern.
Yeah, but he's a coach.
He's a part of a traditional trajectory.
No, he's a coach, but I'm talking about agents. A lot of those agents just were old bodies of some, players that became world famous. Some of those agents, that was the...
Just LeBron and who else?
Well, Raiola and Zlatan.
Yeah, so the names are like... I mean, I know it happens, because Jordan's manager used to do a lot of... Once he had Jordan... I forgot his name. Used to control
David Falk.
Yeah, he used to, but
But Mendes also, thanks to Mourinho. Mourinho brought him on board, Mendes, and he became one of the biggest agents. So
I don't believe you should be able to manage managers and players. I don't think you should be able to be an agent for a manager and player because
I think they're just friends. I think he's just friends with Mourinho. I don't think he represents him.
No,
they just have like a close relationship. He always took players from him.
Yeah. So you were going to say something about Spurs earlier?
Oh, yeah. That's the good news, and I believe in it 100%. That apparently Levy, now we have a stadium, now we have a very strong team. Apparently he assured Pochettino that he can spend whatever he wants, that we'll spend this summer and build a very strong team to compete for Champions League and Premier League next year.
You know what that sounds like to me?
It sounds like we're going in a new direction, baby.
Well, you know what that sounds like to me?
I agree.
So... you're married to someone and they threatening to divorce you, and you're looking out and you see all their suitors lined outside your window, and you're like, how do I keep my chick? And I'm like, hey man, boo, you want to go shopping in Paris? You want to go shopping in England? You want to go shopping in Italy? Here's a checkbook. If you stay, we'll go shopping all around the world, baby.
Good point, but I'll give you a counterpoint.
It's not
no. Because I thought about it, and I actually listened to another podcast when they said it. Yes, you're right about that, but at the same time, from the other side, there's no other team where Pochettino could go right now. All the jobs are taken. There's no opening. There's no opening.
What about Juventus?
Yeah, to go to Juventus, Serie A is not really that.
But he would win. He needs.
Plus, Sarri goes there. It's almost decided that he goes there.
Yeah, but who's hotter right now?
Yeah,
Pochettino or Sarri?
Italian league. They just made a list of like TV rights and budgets. Huddersfield Town, the 20th team in the Premier League, made more money than Juventus and Atletico Madrid, that was second in La Liga, in income last year. 20th team in England. England is the place now. I mean, if you want to, all the best managers are in England, pretty much.
It's the place.
Yeah.
But
what he can do in Juventus? Just win easily another title?
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
Where's Juventus? Because it's like.
But it's not a big accomplishment. Ronaldo went there. Nobody's like.
It's still an accomplishment. Like.
It's not a good league anymore.
What's his name? Left Cleveland. LeBron left Cleveland to go to Miami to team up with people because he just needed to get the championships.
NBA where you have party.
And then after he got the championships, you have one team. Then he went back to Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you have party in NBA. Here you have one team, and that's it. The league is one team and a couple of okay teams, and the rest is garbage.
I mean, you gotta win titles, man. And then he could go back somewhere else and get a better job.
Well, Klopp barely got his. That's 6 finals that he didn't win in.
Right, but he's won the Bundesliga before, twice.
He's not gonna go into better situation. If Real Madrid's job was still open, then yes, that's a better situation. If
who's looking for coaches right now?
Nobody. That's the whole thing. Nobody is. Juventus only, but they will hire Sarri and that's it.
Then how do you leave when they're literally giving you the whole open checkbook?
Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go?
I don't know. What if the sex ain't good? All the checkbook in the world can't make you stay. What if you don't like kissing your wife and you don't like kissing your husband? And there's just like a sexier vibe somewhere else, you know?
I've seen a lot of ugly girls with some ugly guys as long as the money's there.
The problem is there isn't.
We'll see what type of dude, we'll see what type of wife Pochettino is. That's all.
Listen, if you didn't announce Solskjaer, that would be a possibility, although no Champions League football, but you know.
I still don't believe in Pochettino.
Really?
Yeah, it's just... And I go by, listen, so let me look at this thing in a Klopp way. And let me give credit where credit is due. He's done a wonderful job with a little. He's played ball with Levy, and he didn't spend when they told him he couldn't, and he held on, and he got you guys to the Champions League final. The players that he did get, with the exception of 1 or 2, which happens to even the best coaches, didn't work out, but the ones that he did get, most of the time they worked out, and he brought up players from out of nowhere and made them into something. And Spurs are a team to contend with, like in the Premiership and in Europe. So he did that. He took them a step further than most coaches for Spurs have done, right? And so I give him credit for that. But it's just like when I started, I believed in Klopp I always believed in Klopp because he's won before. But the things that he said when they lost 3-0 to Barca, I was like, oh shit, perspective. And it's like, this is a winner's perspective. And I don't think Pochettino always has championship perspective. Like there's this one, when somebody's an all-star once or twice, but they're not an all-star every 10 years player, that there's a degree of difference in that player's pedigree that makes him an all-star for 10 years in a row and an all-star for just 2 years or 1 year when they have a good year. And I think Pochettino, to me, is an all-star coach for like 1 year, 2 years. I don't think he's going to be that career all-star coach.
Well, I think he's doing very well from the start, and he's still a young coach because Klopp was with Borussia Dortmund before he built his empire in Borussia Dortmund. He took them to the Champions League final, right? Mm-hmm. By the way, he's like the one thing about Klopp you have to say, and the guy who wrote his biography said it, Raphael Honigstein, that you can't find one person that would say anything bad about Klopp. Like he's universally liked. Mm-hmm. He's just a very liked person. People like him.
The whole Spurs locker room hates him now. What are you talking about?
People just like him and like to play for him. He actually invited a couple of former players he coached at Borussia. He gave VIP ticket to Jakub Blaszczykowski, who was the star player for Borussia, and there's a funny story.
How do you put that name on the guest list? What is that? Jakub Blaszczykowski?
One of the heroes of last Euro. Come on, man.
I feel bad for the person looking up that name. So you're saying you're on...
But guess what happened? So he had the ticket in his hand, and then a Liverpool fan took it from him outside of the stadium. But Blaszczykowski put the ticket. He just left a volume in his hand and put the ticket in his trousers. But he still ran after the guy, and the guy was, I'm sorry, I just want to see my Liverpool so badly.
Uh-huh. And then what?
And he got it back. But the moral of the story is that he still takes care. He still remember to invite him, even if they worked together 7-8 years ago in Borussia. Like he's a loyal and grateful guy, right. And that's a good quality to have. I think Pochettino is more of a disciplinarian. He doesn't have that close of a relationship with his locker room as Klopp does. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he's like in the middle between Klopp and Mourinho, where Mourinho antagonizes the locker room.
Right.
Klopp, loved by everyone. I think Pochettino is in the middle. He's just professional. He's not too close with players, but he's close enough,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And I liked it about him. He's like
How old is he?
in his 40s.
40s. What you was gonna say?
That Klopp, he's always in a joking mood. Like in the interview,
yeah.
even when they lost, he's just like, oh, well.
He got drunk. Did you
Yeah.
see the video from the parade when he almost fell out of the bus?
And I like that
Nah.
shit.
It's crazy.
Because
Yeah.
we've all held that
Yeah.
coach as an asshole.
Uh-huh.
And that coach, you want in the middle.
Right.
But
Find that video when he almost fell from the bus. That's hilarious.
Well, I don't know if you show it.
yeah, we can.
They might.
It is on
Block.
YouTube. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but they might block the whole thing. We use your YouTube videos,
Yeah,
and sometimes they block the whole
Yeah?
podcast. Yeah.
That's
I
right.
don't take the. Yeah, no, that's not true.
Because that's work for Ian Edwards.
Yeah, it's
He's
work
like,
for
no,
me.
I ain't
I
trying
post
that
it and then it's not up, and I gotta find it and do
Edit
some
it
blur
out.
shit, and then
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's up. Anything else Premiership you all want to talk about or Champions League?
Well, we didn't talk about Europa League final at all. Arsenal officially eliminated from Champions League next year. They lost to Chelsea. Sarri's first trophy in his coaching career.
Yeah, so I'm happy for him that he won a trophy. Does Chelsea want to fire him still?
No, he wanted to leave, and he's leaving.
So he's definitely leaving. Where is he going?
Juventus.
And Conte, what job did he get? Inter?
Yeah. Didn't get it yet, but
Inter
he will.
Milan?
Yeah. He wants to bring Lukaku.
I'll take him.
Hey, how lame did you think Imagine Dragon was at the beginning of this thing? Where's the Super Bowl now?
I'm torn because I've seen them live, and they're pretty amazing.
But did you like that it became like a Super Bowl?
I think they always have like a big performance at like World
Not
Cup
like-
finals and
Not
Champions
like
League
that.
finals.
This was the first time they had like a, right? It was the first time they had like
Yeah.
a huge, yeah. They usually don't have
I guess I'm used to seeing like a big performance
like
at
Super
the beginning
Bowl.
of the
Yeah,
World
like a
Cup.
Super
At the-
Bowl.
or at the beginning of the World Cup final.
Yeah, but that's different. That's an
This is big.
initiation. I don't think
It could have
so.
been better. How about that?
There you go.
It's halfway lame.
How about the other highlight of the game?
What's that?
The swimsuit model.
Oh, I missed that.
You missed that?
Where was that?
She ran on the pitch.
Oh, so
The
that was
swimsuit-
the person who ran
Yeah,
on.
the Kinsey Wolansky. She's like a swimsuit model. Her husband's Bang Bus fiance or something like that. That's her fiance.
A bang bus?
Yeah, her fiance owns the company Bang
So
Bus.
she did it for publicity.
Oh, so she's an
Yeah.
she's an
Is she
actor.
a swimsuit model or is she a porn star?
She's dating a guy who owns a porn star company, but she's a swimsuit model, I guess.
Is she a legit swimsuit model?
I'm pretty sure she does porn.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she just ran into the pitch, so
Yeah.
she's not a legitimate model.
Because yeah, that's a legit model. Because I was gonna say, and what she have on her thing?
Her company. It's her. I don't know if it's a porn company or something like that, but it's for
That's
sure her company.
ridiculous.
She's just trying to do that. And
Don't
it's
follow
funny.
her, guys. Don't follow
No, and
her.
it's funny because Instagram blocked her
Whoa,
account.
bro.
Her Instagram blocked her account after that
Uh-huh.
because she was just doing it for publicity. And
Yeah,
Instagram was
it's
like, don't do
ridiculous.
that. She went from 1,000 followers to like 2 million or something like that overnight. She went to jail and shit. And I think that was the highlight of the game. Other than that, there was nothing more interesting.
She looks actually worse in that. And she looks out of shape.
Why did they blur that? That she wasn't
I think
shaved?
I don't know if she's showing her cooch. I don't know what she's doing. But
What's that say? Vital?
Yeah, she doesn't look good on that photo at all.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
kinda
looks
hot.
better on this one,
yeah.
for sure.
Should have
Than the
streaked
real
like
one.
that instead of. All right.
I hope she wasn't a Tottenham supporter. That's the only hope I have.
she got locked up.
What players do you want for Spurs?
I would take Madison. I'll take the guy they want to buy from Real Betis. That's a very good guy.
Who's that?
Lo Celso. It will be club record. I think 60 mil. They'll pay for him. I like him.
Would you pay 60 mil for James Madison?
If we pay for Lo Celso, I don't think we need James Madison.
What's Lascelles' position?
He's a central midfielder.
Do you think?
Another playmaker.
Do you think you to what the rest Ericsson or sell
No,
Ericsson?
they play a passing game, so they can play them together. Sometimes one can rest, one can play, and they can link with Aldi.
What do you guys need?
We need another playmaker. We need a right back. We need to get rid of Trippier. He was absolutely horrific.
Remember
this season.
years ago,
Oh
I
my
told you
God.
He's leaving.
that
Ugh.
Walker, you sell Walker, and Trippier's
Yeah, but
going to
Walker
be
wasn't that good neither for
Yes,
City.
yes, he was. What are you talking about? He's won 2 He's a part of the Centurions.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that he was one of the best players on the team.
Listen, man, they're not gonna listen. When Pep got to Man City, their problem was defense. They bought him, and he helped their defense. And he helped their defense. What do you want?
Supposedly all these are supposed to be leaving. That's unbelievable.
I need Aurier gone for sure. I can't stand Aurier. I don't want Alderweireld, of course, gone. I want him to stay. I want Danny Rose. You know what? Because he's been at the club for so long, I would keep him just for that. But
I think next year he'll be better. It's just injuries, recovering from a tough injury.
Yeah, but he's got injuries all the time. He's not. It's hard to.
Lamela don't do shit.
Yeah, but I like him.
Why?
He can make a difference from the bench in a couple of games. He did in the Premier League a couple of times.
When?
I don't recall.
I don't recall, bro. I would send me clips of that game.
Plus, they pay a lot of money for him. They paid 30 million for him.
How much?
6 years ago, 30.
Overpaid.
Yeah, 30 million. Yeah, they paid 30 million.
You get got sometimes. It's funny to see Shaqiri go from Stoke to Champions League final. From Stoke, relegated.
Yeah, but he was always good. He was at Bayern before, so he was always Stoke wasn't the place for him.
Yeah, he just need to be in the right place mentally, and even they don't use him as much as they used to. So maybe there's something up with him too.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this: I know we'll spend. I know, but the team that will suffer probably the most is Chelsea because they have the transfer ban.
So did they go to that arbitration thing?
Yeah, they're
shut down.
Yep.
They're shut down for a year, and the worst part is, so they thought that they would bring some guys who were on the loan, but now Loftus-Cheek, they brought him back, and he's on the tour in America, and he got terrible injury a couple of days ago. He'll be done for at least 6 months, so doesn't look good. They have Pulisic. That's it.
They got Pulisic,
and Hazard will leave. Huge blow.
So Sarri's getting out of there at the right time.
Yeah.
I still think you got a player at Birmingham. Not Aston Villa, I think. Not you. Chelsea has a player at Aston Villa, I think. That's going to come up. Because Aston Villa qualified. I don't know if we talked about this last week.
No, we did not.
They qualified. They won the game. My homeboy Lloyd's team, Aston Villa, is now going to be in the Premiership next year.
Yeah.
And they beat, what was it? Derby, which is Lampard's team, which is great for Lampard. He's first year coaching, and he almost got his team into the Premier League. So, go back to the drawing board. And, Aston Villa lost in this playoff game last year, and they learned just the way Liverpool learned from losing the Champions League, and they won, and now they're in the Premiership.
Well deserved, it's a big club, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Lloyd calls it, they said in England, that game, right? So to get into the Premiership from the Championship, the first 2 teams in the league qualify automatically. And then there's a playoff between the next 4 teams below them.
Yeah.
So then they play each other home and away?
No, it's just one game. The higher ranked team plays at home. So the 4th, 5th plays
I think it's home and away, bro.
No.
It's 4 teams, right? So they first play home and away. And
I think
there's 2 left.
I think there's one game they play.
No.
The high ranked team plays home.
Nah, it's home and away.
You sure?
Yeah.
Can we check that?
Look it up, I'm looking it up now.
Because I think like Leeds, because they had Polish player, they lost at home to whoever they lost, I think Derby actually. And that was it. But let me see.
It's home and away, but they don't count away goals
Put
any more than
championship
regular
playoffs.
goals.
Championship playoffs.
And some of these, the name of some of these
schedule. Yeah.
things are they sound too much alike. So like people that don't understand or follow football, it's tough. I understand like some Americans, people's confusion with football. One of them says, like, when does the season end? And it's like the season does end, but then another championship or tournament starts, and then other leagues in other countries play when others aren't. So it feels like soccer never ends.
It's somewhere right here.
What's it saying?
It says, at the end of the season, the 2 top teams in the Football League Championship gain automatic promotion to the Premier League. The next four teams,
You're right.
Yes.
2 games. Yeah.
You won.
Yes. I won. Spurs loses again. So then there's the 2 teams play. The 4 teams play each other in home and away games, and then the 2 teams that are left out of those 4 play a game at Wembley, a final at Wembley. And
same in the third division and fourth division, same thing, yeah.
But if you win this game, it's the biggest game in sports in the world, even though it's a playoff game between the 2 championship teams that aren't at the top of the championship, because it is worth $170 million. Because once you play in the Premiership, that's the amount of TV money that you get.
Yeah.
For the year. So you're playing this game. It's the biggest game in football.
Yep.
Yeah, and also there is a major difference between Championship and League One, and Sunderland lost to Charlton the big finale of this one, and also in Championship you get some TV money. You don't get, of course, not even close to Premier League money, right, but you can live of it. There's a huge gap between League One and Championship. It's a huge gap because there's no TV games for League One at all.
Right.
So Sunderland, which is a big club, for them to lose the playoff final against Charlton, as they did, it's another blow to a club that is suffering so much.
Right. And Charlton's been in the Premiership before.
Yeah.
So is Sunderland. So those are teams that kind of yo-yo. Yeah. What do you guys think of the League of Nations Cup? We got Portugal versus Switzerland coming up on this Wednesday, and Netherlands versus England on Thursday, and then Sunday is the final. So this is the first League of Nations Cup semi-final and final. Like, I don't give a fuck really, but only reason why I care now is because England has a chance to win something, and I think we need to win something small before we can win something big.
Here's my take, and that's why I'm kind of a little bit disgusted about the whole idea, and I don't like it at all. And now it's all about money, just making more money. Just it's end of the season. Champions League is already final. It's way too late. It should have been 2 weeks ago. It's way too late. Players should be on holiday. Like,
why is
players
it so
are not
far?
resting because it's just to stretch to make more money. And now this idea, and then still the vacation will be even shorter for players, for major stars, and it's just ridiculous. Now I've heard 2 days ago that the commissioner of the NBA wants to have mid-season tournament for a cup, NBA Cup. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea.
What do you mean?
He wants to be have a soccer type of a second trophy to give to NBA teams. So instead of just having an NBA championship, there will be like a mid-season tournament for NBA Cup.
Oh, just like
just to make more money.
Just like the League Cup or the FA Cup.
Yeah, like an FA Cup. And like everybody's criticizing that. It's just to make more money. But nobody cares.
82 games is a lot. At least in soccer, they're playing for 38 games in the season. You got 82 games, you're going to add more shit to it. You could, one injury, and you could lose like the league's marquee player for a season.
And it happened. LeBron was injured for a lot of this season. Now Durant is injured. He doesn't play the finals. He didn't play the previous round.
Right.
But it's just greed. And same with soccer. It's not time to play. It's time, let it go.
Yeah. Then they come to the United States.
And
Loftus-Cheek got injured, and he will not play in the first part of the season.
Have you ever been to those games?
Yeah,
when I was a kid, I was like, oh, my dad's gonna take me to Real Madrid, Chivas game. Second squad, I was so pissed. I didn't know. I was all stoked.
Sometimes they bring
they bring one or two just to get everybody to shut up, but the whole squad ain't there. It's just
end of July.
It's just a money grab.
End of July, the games are more competitive because they're like right before they come back. So I went to the game. They Manchester City played, I think, Tottenham,
right,
or something like that. Last year there was a pretty good game.
I don't know what you saw.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, in Rose Bowl. That was actually a pretty good game because that was the last game before the season started, like 7 days before the season started. But those games now in the mid-July, end of June, terrible.
I had an idea, but I lost it. I guess I want to go back to Pogba too. Like, another thing people don't look at, the people who are criticizing him heavily, is he won the World Cup, right? That means he played in the last game of the World Cup, and he started the first game of Man U season. Like, he like willfully like dove in and played after winning the World Cup. And they were players who didn't get that far in the World Cup to the final game, or even not even just the semifinals. There's players that made it to the semifinals that didn't play like the first week or two of the Premiership season, but he like gave himself. So he's been overextending like just for like a few seasons now without much rest. And he's just criticized so heavily, and people, when I say look at the whole picture, or maybe I guess his run stats were down, but you're talking about how it's too much, you know, for these players. There's no rest. I don't think he got enough rest coming into this season. And if towards the end of the season he looked like he was dogging it, there's a reason for it. It's not his mental attitude. It's what the fuck is your body gonna do with no rest?
My only argument to that is soccer's always been a year-round sport.
Nah.
Yeah, since a kid. When you play club soccer, it's every weekend. Or you got that Sunday league. You're always playing a lot.
Yeah,
unlike football, unlike football and baseball, where they have these seasons. So I'm not saying they do get run a lot, but I just think they're so used to it. As in, it's just
it's just too many competitions.
Too much, man.
June and July were vacations time for a long time.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, man. And now the preseason starts earlier. Like he must have got like 2 weeks left after he played a full season.
Let's check when Premier League starts. When the new season starts.
Yeah. He played a full season, then rolled right into the World Cup, won the World Cup, and had to cut his vacation short, go to training, and start.
August 10th.
August 10th.
So it's the
beginning of August.
Charity Shield will be August 3rd. So
and August 10th means nothing. You training before that.
Yeah.
And he said, there's still probably a game in the U.S. 7 days before last year.
And Charity Shield week before.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to hope that you don't win the league, so you don't have to play in the Charity Shield, so you can get some rest. And then they have, if you win the Champions League or UEFA, Europa League, then you got to play that game.
Yeah.
Where the Champions League winner plays it.
It's literally 2 months from now.
Yeah.
2 months from now. And there's still games to be played.
And then people are like, you suck. Yeah.
And they play all year round. They play December, January. They play all year round.
And you still have to stay in shape, and you still have to improve your skills and get better. It's like you're gonna plateau
eventually.
Yeah. What's up with this Women's World Cup? Y'all gonna check it out?
No.
Nope.
God damn. For real?
Nah,
I'm gonna be the only one?
Nah, I'm gonna check it out. Couple cuties in there.
I mean,
come on. Germany plays China at 6 a.m. Saturday. Nobody?
Hey, that's kind of early.
Australia plays Italy at 4 a.m. on Sunday. Nobody? Jamaica plays Brazil.
That's your team.
At 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, you'll be watching, I'm sure.
Sunday. Nobody?
Nope.
Whatchamacallit? Like, Jamaica's the first Caribbean team to ever qualify for the Females World Cup.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the Women's World Cup.
I mean, I respect it. I'm just not into it at all, you know.
I feel you. I'm not going to force it down your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't build a tradition of supporting female soccer. Although I'm not against it, of course, no.
So, you know, there's a woman, I think, female, type in female Ballon d'Or. It's good. I'm glad you.
Female what?
Ballon d'Or winner. Right? I was looking at this on my phone.
And she's dating. I know that that's a funny story. This is what I heard about.
Ada Hegerberg.
And she's dating a guy who plays in Poland for one of the teams. She's dating another Norwegian guy who is a center back for Polish team. So,
right.
Yeah.
But
so she's now in Poland because she came with him to some party or whatever.
But clicked on the wrong one.
Oh, well. You click back on the girl that was the pitch invader. But this woman, right? She's not gonna be. She's the best player in the world, or she won the first female Ballon d'Or, and she's not gonna play in the World Cup because she refuses because she says there hasn't been enough equality in the way female players are treated.
What kind of equality she wants to play like World Cup where guys play against girls?
Let me see. I'll go back to that screen. I went blank for a second. Let me see if it says up there. But this is where I disagree with her.
It's a female World Cup. That's what it is. It's an all-female tournament.
I say you play and make people see the value of women's soccer.
I mean, it's higher than ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's higher than ever. But
20 years ago, I didn't even know that girls are playing soccer.
It's not even because, of course, it's not even because men started it and played first.
Yeah.
Right? And put a lot of work into it, and there's going to be uneven pay because female soccer players are not as good as male soccer players.
It's not even if they're as good, which they aren't because of physical build.
Right.
But it's also who you want. You like TV ratings.
The money generated by men's soccer is so much more. It's going to be tough to.
Same in basketball. Yeah. You don't expect WNBA players being paid the same as LeBron James.
Listen. I'm not going to get paid the same as Bill Burr. You feel me? I'm not going to get paid as much as Sebastian. You know, and. There are men that don't get paid as much as men.
Or even give me a female comic who's super big.
Yeah. So I'm not like,
right?
Okay,
like Amy Schumer, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I just think, I don't know, you have to prove.
It's demand, supply and demand,
Supply and demand are also, I believe, like from a third world country where you earn the thing and the reputation and the status that you want, and you bust your ass. And sometimes you can work hard and it doesn't work out, but I think you just have to go out there and prove yourself and become undeniable.
Their argument is that.
What's their argument?
How does the World Cup's men, the U.S. men's team doesn't qualify for the World Cup and they make more when the girls win it? I still don't think it's
because
you're still not getting the rail. Yeah, you're still not getting. You're not selling the shirts. You're not
because there's. It's like
that's their argument. That's the only argument.
Well, the argument is, you're acting like you don't know finances. Like,
that's what it is.
Because the championship doesn't make as much money as the Premiership because they're two different leagues. If you play in the Premiership, you make more money. And teams, TV rights and everything.
Listen.
If you play in the championship, which doesn't generate as much money, you get paid generally less.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like if you look at the men's league, even like you just said, Huddersfield, who got relegated in the Premiership, they make more money than Atletico Madrid, the team that came second in Spain.
Yeah.
It's the league you're in.
But that's the TV rights. Yeah, that's the complete business.
But it's the league you're in, the TV rights. And what people are watching more, and where the money is, and advertising is. So so women's soccer, I think, is younger than men's soccer. So you have
just
to.
Not that demand. I have nothing against female soccer. I just don't watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to watch the World Cup, but I just disagree. I disagree with her. But I want to make sure.
I wish them well, but I just don't watch it. I'm not interested, So, and I'll give you another example. Like in Poland, the most beloved team right now is a Polish volleyball team because we're world champions, but they're not making the same money as a Polish soccer team. Even a Polish soccer team constantly underperforms at major tournaments. It's just the business of it,
It's the business.
Yeah,
I think makes. And I know there's other factors. But so what is she saying?
Yeah, she's ditching it. Yeah, she said she's ditching it.
And why is she ditching it? Let's make sure. Because I read something.
Because the quality will be.
Hasn't played for Norway national team since it crashed out of the Euros in 2017. And let's just see why.
You know what's going to happen to her?
Let's see. Scoring 3 goals in the span of 16 minutes. Hegerberg, once again, stole the limelight. Hegerberg has moved on. I just want to see where she's frustrated by the state of women's football in her country. Norway. Hegerberg stopped playing for the Norway national team 2 years ago. She has played for Norway since it crashed out. She hasn't played. I've always respected men's football for what they earn. The gap is enormous, but at the same time, you need to give young women and girls the same opportunity as the men. That's where we need to do the change, she said. But even speaking like American soccer, if you're, when the American League started, like soccer players, men needed, they had to have jobs. And this is only like 20 years ago. So when you played in the MLS, it doesn't pay that much. And it's just like, but guys were willing to just wanted to be a part of a league that was a professional league in their country. And they weren't making, the MLS players still, only a few of them make good money. A lot of them make so much less than players in other leagues in other countries. But it's like,
well, what if
are you in or you not? You want to do this or
Absolutely.
not?
It's like Nigeria saying, the women's Nigeria team saying, we're not going to play because we don't make enough as the France women team. It's the same thing. It's just
I'll give you even more.
It's the same thing as, I think it's the same thing
I'll
as
give
the
you
Nigerian
more
woman
clear.
saying, I'm not playing because I don't make the same as the people in France. It's always an equality
But
thing.
your league doesn't make the same amount.
Well,
Listen,
exactly.
the
They
best
don't make the
example
same
is-
amount.
Yeah.
The NBA Development League, the so-called G League, the maximum contract is $5,000 per month.
In what league?
G League, the Development League, the NBA Development League.
Right.
But once you get called in, so you can be the best player in the G League, the best player, right?
Right.
You get this $5,000, $6,000 max, right?
Because nobody's watching it.
Yeah,
really.
but once you get called in and you don't even have to play, the minimum is like $400,000, $500,000.
Right.
So that's what it is, you know. So you don't even play there, but you get paid 10 times more because you're in this league instead of you're being the
you
star.
stepped up your league.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the
Yeah.
championship. And it's just like the league, it's what the league is.
Yeah.
Like, hey, get women to watch your league and support your
Yeah.
league, and then there'll be more money for your league.
Yeah. If the
Yeah.
advertisers would put more money in the female leagues, you know, that they will have more
But
money.
also
to, yeah.
more people have to be interested and support it so that, you know, you can make a stand. You know what I'm saying?
You know what would make the Women's World Cup good?
What?
If good players like her played instead of sitting out and
that's what
not
I'm
make
saying.
it interesting.
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
Exactly. It's
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
have to be there to be like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
to
I actually
to see
watched.
how good you are,
Yeah.
to say this is entertaining, this is
Yeah.
interesting.
If you
so
never
she should
texted
play.
me like, hey, did you see this girl killing it?
Yeah.
Like, she fucking playing like Cristiano. All right, I'm going to check this shit
Yeah.
out. But
I used to love to watch, what's her name? What was the Brazilian number 10? What was her name? Was it?
The one who played in LA?
Yeah, but she what's her name?
She played in LA. I remember that.
Yeah.
I said Marta.
Marta. Well, I
Marta.
guess come on, man. Marta's on TV. I'm watching that, and it grew the interest in the
You
sport. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. It's a touchy subject, so I don't want to, you know. I just feel like, hey,
I mean,
man,
I support girls, but I'll tell you, and I was never into female basketball and just.
I'm not into the
soccer.
D League.
Yeah.
In basketball, I'm not going to sit there and watch the D League in male basketball. I'm not going to sit there and watch the championship in British soccer because it's not as good as the Premiership. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have the time, even though I love soccer. Like I watch the playoff game because it's an interesting, there's interest, in that big playoff game, to watch it. And these guys are going to be in the Premiership and you want to see some of what they got, and our team has to face them. But
listen, there's a better tournament that I'll be watching instead of female World Cup. With all due respect, Copa America. I'll be watching not female World Cup with and I wish all good luck to all the players, and fans. But Copa America will be like on my TV.
And here's the thing: people watch women's tennis a lot.
Actually, you know what? I like women's tennis.
Yeah, see,
I do. I actually do.
Yeah.
And I think there is some sort of equality between female players because I think the interests in female tennis is not far off the men tennis.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there's a tradition. I remember as a kid watching Steffi Graf and Martina Navratilova. I was really
they
interested.
They built
I
this
agree.
thing. They built this thing that was captivating.
Venus Williams, Serena Williams, of course. Martina
Steffi
Hingis,
Graf,
Steffi Graf.
all of them.
I met Monica Seles a couple of years ago at the party. Yeah, she lives here now in LA.
The Venus sisters.
Yeah.
My friend calls them the Venus sisters, which is so hilarious. But like you're interested, like you want to.
100%.
You turn on the TV
100%.
to watch, but they didn't be like, I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna. Hey man, you gotta be a part of this thing and help build it up for the next generation. Like this is not gonna happen right now.
Yeah.
Like black people didn't even get the rights that they deserved as human beings. They had to fucking march for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the U.S. is pushing it. A lot of commercials. A lot of you watched them where you watched in the Champions League.
What?
The females World Cup commercials.
I'm gonna watch the females World Cup.
But they were pushing it, and I liked it. I like it.
America.
Like they're pushing it. They're helping it. They're helping it better. They're helping to make it better.
They always push the America, the women's World Cup. But I disagree with her. How about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Copa America.
When is the Copa America?
Now.
Yeah, it's pretty
Started
much.
already?
Which makes Alexis Sanchez
and that's crazy again.
less rested.
We just talked about rest and time and space, and here they go. Copa America started already.
No, it starts next week.
Friday.
I mean, this.
Brazil,
The following
Bolivia.
Friday.
Yeah,
How did
Brazil,
Japan
Bolivia.
get into Copa America?
Qatar. Yeah, they always invite one team, so Qatar is the team.
And what about
And
Japan?
Japan is always there somehow. Yeah.
Who do you see?
Uruguay has brings the strongest team, so I would say Uruguay.
Uruguay?
Or Chile is always good. Maybe your boy Alexis Sanchez
I think Chile
saved up.
I think Chile cooled off. I
You
don't
know,
think they hot no
maybe
more.
Alexis Sanchez was saving himself up for Copa America. What do you think?
No, I don't. He's fresh. He got plenty of rest this Man U season. So
What about Fred? Fred, would you be rooting for Fred?
yeah, I want to see him do something. I want to believe in Fred. He's on our payroll. You know.
When is the final? What's the gap between the final and the start of the season? Because that's interesting. Matches.
Are they going to be playing this tournament while the Women's World Cup is going on?
July 7th is the final.
It's not
so
even a month, 3 weeks.
Jeez, and then these people have to say just played.
Yeah.
Then they got to roll into this.
August 10th.
And then they got to roll. Too much, bro.
You see?
Yeah, for sure, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Human beings, man.
July 7th.
Not computers.
It's the final. And it's the final. Like, people are really blaming Messi for not winning the last two finals of Copa America. So it's like the final is for real.
Yeah.
It's a real tournament.
And all the effort that he puts into a Barcelona season, he doesn't rest. And then he has to roll into this thing and then be fresh. The motherfucker's tired, bro.
Imagine if they would have been the Champions League's final. He would have had less rest. Messi would
he wouldn't even been able to practice with the squad.
Yep.
It's a good thing Liverpool beat them. Did Argentina a favor.
And he needs to win more in Argentina than he needs to win in Brazil and
No
Barcelona.
wonder, because he spends all his energy in the season. And then you want to plug? We about to bounce.
I'll be in Plano and Dallas, Texas, June 14th and June 15th, and then Skankfest, June 20th through the 23rd.
I want to go to Skankfest one time.
Yeah, it should be fun.
June
I've never
when?
been June 20th to the 23rd.
Shit, I'm actually
Let's do it.
booked.
Shit.
That weekend.
Where you headed?
I'm headlining. I see better without my glasses, by the way. I'm headlining Laughing Skull in Atlanta, June 20th to the 23rd. Exactly.
Oh shit!
So I'm gonna miss
There you
that. Yeah. And I'll since I just started, I'll just finish. And then my special is dropping.
Oh,
July 12th.
nice.
On Comedy Central. It's a Friday night. It's going to be 11 p.m. It's called Ian Talks. Everybody check it out. Spread the word. And then I'm going to have my website finally back up with dates and stuff like that. So you could go to ianedwardscomedian.com. Not yet. Give me a week. And I'm just going to start adding dates and doing shows. And what do you want to plug?
Shooting a couple of things in the next upcoming weeks, but I'll do a show as well. I'll do confirm it today, in July 22nd, Improv Main Room.
All right, Hollywood Improv Main Room. All right, cool. All right, thanks y'all. Thanks for being great losers. Hey man, nothing against Spurs, but I do not want to talk to Martin after Spurs wins the Champions League. So thank you, Liverpool. that I didn't have to endure that today. Thank you, Liverpool. Congratulations, Klopp and all the players. And good season.
Yeah.
Good season. I really like the way it ended. All right, y'all. Let's go.
I'm wondering.